Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Western Unity has officially spoken, so it's 9 o'clock. We're about to get started, and we thank everyone for being here. Appreciate all the chaplain and all of that. So we certainly grateful to be here today. So as we all know, this is our first meeting of the month. And amazingly and gratefully and thankfully, almost half of the year is gone. So we want to take advantage of doing good things because time is moving fast. So with that, I am calling the meeting to order. And at this time, I would like to ask us to stand and remain standing for Council Member Green to lead us with the invocation as well as the pledge.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Let us pray. Most gracious and eternal Father, we pause in this shared space to say thank you, Lord. Oh Lord, we pray your blessings, your strengthening, and your protection on this community as well as our nation. Oh Lord, as we deliberate over pulsating issues of our city, empower our discernment, eliminate our judgment and plans with your celestial insights, oh Lord. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to lead this governing body. We ask favor among the citizens of positively Phenix City. Lord, we ask special blessings among our mayor, our city staff, and this council. Help us to trust you more, oh God, as we go about the business of Phenix City. Thank you for being a generous and faithful provider for us all. With hopeful hearts, we seek your grace for the betterment judgment of every citizen here in Phenix City, knowing that you lies your wisdom beyond measure. In all that we do today and thereafter, let us decide right here today that you may be reflected and glorified first and foremost. May all deliberation echo love, peace, and fairness, ensuring that our city will continue to flourish spiritually and not just materially. Bless us right now, Lord. Bless us one by one, name by name. Lord, we ask many blessings among your holy and precious Jesus Christ's name. Let everyone say amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, and thank you all so very much. Proceeding on our calendar, at this time, I'd like to call on our City Manager, Wallace Hunter, as well as our HR Director, Stephanie Chastain, give honor where honor is due for 5 years of increment of service, and you all still going, I guess he's not here. Oh, I'm taking you out there. You stand out there when we came through.
Mayor, I about missed him as well. I said, I saw.
Yeah, I'm looking out here. He's working his city, and he's standing up.
Good morning.
You had to work on your day of recognition, and that's you're working your job.
This is a highlight for us. This is something we do monthly just to recognize our employees for their service and dedication. So we had one solo one for this month of May. We have Officer Anthony Campbell with the police department, 5 years of service. Congratulations. You're more than welcome to say a few words with you.
Here's the beach now.
Oh, it's beach. Well, yeah, it's been a heck of a journey. I learned a lot through this department. Also, I want to thank Mr. Smith, Mr. Walker, for giving me the opportunity to actually be here and actually prove that I can actually stay and actually pursue a career that I want to be in. So I want to be here for those guys that believe in me and giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Officer Campbell, at least 20 more years.
21?
At least 20 more. Hey, you do that.
And we're young man.
That's a piece of cake, man.
That takes a few more blinks.
That's a piece of cake. All right. Thank you and congratulations. Appreciate what you do, be careful out there.
Yes, sir.
All right, proceeding on, council. Under the city clerk, I'd like to ask the council for a motion for the approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for the April 14th work session as well as April 15th council meeting, and since we were all there, take this in one motion, so I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the April 14th work session as well as April 15th council meeting.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Davis, I have a second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Davis. Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy? Mayor Lo?
Yes. Proceeding on, council, on the city council, at this time, are there any unfinished business that any council would like to discuss? If not, we will proceed on under the building department. We have a resolution in reference to rescinding resolution number 2024-229 in reference to awarding a bid for demolition of structures located at 1004 North Railroad Street. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city of Phoenix City awarded a bid for the demolition located at 1004 North Railroad Street to Complete Demolition Services, LLC, in the amount of $15,000, and resolution number 2024-229, dated November 5th, 2024. And whereas Complete Demolition Services, LLC, did not perform their obligations as specified in the bid documents. And whereas the city of Phoenix City wishes to rescind resolution number 2024-229, awarded said bid, and will award the demolition to the next lowest bidder. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, does hereby rescind resolution number 2024-229, dated November 5th, 2024, which awarded a bid for demolition located at 1004 North Railroad Street to Complete Demolition Services, LLC, in the amount of $15,000. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay, council, we've heard the resolution. It's time I'd like to ask the council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Green, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Taylor. Comments or discussion?
Just a couple. Any idea why they did not do the so-called diligence? And then number two, are they allowed to bid on stuff in the future if they kind of drop the ball on something? Or do we kind of look at that and maybe think that maybe they'll do it again? I'm just curious how that works.
We don't allow them to bid on something else, and we'll just look at what it is.
Right.
I think that the biggest issue was this house has asbestos siding on it.
Okay.
And, once we got the asbestos report back, they come back with a bid of like $15,000 to remove the asbestos siding. They said,
Right.
well, if you want to get somebody else to do it, then you can.
Well, I mean, kind of can understand it, right?
Not. So, they're just not willing to take the ball on the road or go with it. We just feel like our best option is to
Right.
turn his contractor. We've talked with him, discussed asbestos with him. He's got
He's
some
aware.
ideas on what he can do with it, so we just like. to keep-
And that wasn't anything that we didn't know it either going into it. I'm assuming that it had that to begin with, is what I'm saying.
That's right.
Right, okay. I'm just curious what, if they changed their minds, for what reason they might have done it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
And those folks that deal with asbestos, they have to have special licenses to dispose of that way.
Yes, sir, some asbestos you do have to have special licenses to remove it if it's gonna create dust and all. If they have to be licensed to do that.
And you take it somewhere else to get it disposed.
Yeah, well, actually goes to the same landfill.
Okay.
Let me ask this, do you foresee there being a problem with the next, demolition team that do they know that, or will they?
No, sir, he's aware of the issue, and he's working to get that resolved
Okay,
for us.
okay,
Right.
thank you. Any other comments or discussion or questions? Not, call for the vote, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council on the building department, is a resolution in reference to awarding a bid to All Season Lawn Care, the demolition of the structure located at 1004 North Railroad Street in an amount not to exceed $18,000. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city of Phenix City did rescind resolution number 2024-229 dated November 5th, 2024, which awarded a bid for demolition of a structure located at 1004 North Railroad Street to Complete Demolition Services LLC in the amount of $15,000 with dumping fees. And whereas the city of Phenix City desires to remove the existing structure at the property located at 1004 North Railroad Street. And whereas All Seasons Lawn Care submitted a bid in the amount of $18,000 with dumping fees for the demolition and removal of the structure located at 1004 North Railroad Street. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby accepts the bid in the amount of $18,000 with dumping fees from All Seasons Lawn Care. Passed, approved, and adopted this 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay, thank you again for the reading of that resolution. And council, we've heard it. This time I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Any comments or discussion? Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
City and non-council on the Economic Development Department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to enter into an agreement for services with B&B Beverages Management, allowing them to obtain a 140 special retail license at the Phenix City Library District for an event held on May 30th, 2025. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city of Phenix City desires to provide quality entertainment for its citizens, and whereas the city of Phenix City would like to enter into an agreement for services with B&B Beverage Management, allowing them to obtain a 140 special retail license at the Phenix City Library District for a city event held on May 30th, 2025. And whereas this is at no cost to the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the mayor and city manager as authorizing officials are hereby authorized and directed to enter into an agreement for services with B&B Beverage Management, allowing them to obtain a 140 special retail license at the Phenix City Library District for a city event held on May 30th, 2025. Passed, approved, and adopted this 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you again. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion from the council, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion?
Just a brief comment or question, Mayor. This is so good for the city of Phenix City. And when we look at events like this, and when it say no cost to the city, you know, the city didn't have to pay any money for this. And that's good that our city staff look at partnering with different vendors to do this. But the lively district is one that is up and coming. Can we just get someone from our staff to kind of elaborate just a little bit more about this event and the impact it will have in Phenix City?
Sure, yes, Ms. Carter. First and foremost, our Parks and Recreation does a great job of working with B&B. This company specifically for a lot of the events that they hold. They help manage a lot of the beverage sales at the amphitheater as well. So it's the same exact company. It just happens to be going through us in this case. But actually, this event and then future events in that space, this one specifically is a food truck event. We call it Food Truck Friday. So we've got a handful of food trucks, we've got live entertainment, and so it's an opportunity to really and truly bring people to the riverfront. So the space that's been cleared out and it's been beautified to some degree. It's something we're going to continue to improve over the next few years. But we want to get people there and see how they move, see what they do, let them experience it. And so often they don't see what we have an opportunity to see, like how beautiful that riverfront is. The goal is obviously for that to lead to commercial development, right? So sooner than later, for sure. But this is one of those events where we just want to be super casual with it, but it's something that the community feels safe and comfortable in that space. And let's experience how they move so that we know how to plan it.
Let me ask you this, it says here, 140 special retail license. You don't license for one day or for the whole weekend?
So this one is specifically for that day. But they can be done for periods of time. So they can be, the ABC holds this, and so this is one of those things where it can be detailed as specific as we need to. But in this case, it's just for that day because that's the only use that we're going to have.
Okay. let me ask you another question.
Yes, sir.
We talk about the city lot district, do we have any partner, there's a partner of the city to come on and represent them?
Do we have any partners?
Yeah, we're talking about the city library district on the river, right? And I was just wondering, do we have some partners coming in?
So we're in the recruitment process. So we do have some specific stakeholders that own property within that area that are working towards filling those buildings with commercial businesses that benefit that area, benefit the community. We own buildings, of course, that we're trying to fill with restaurants and coffee shops and those kinds of things. We're working there. We're also working specifically in that area with a recreational type of use for that space as well. So we've got one partner now, plans to have many more partners in the future.
Okay, thank you. Keep working.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Sean.
Great job, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, discussion? If not, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council on the engineering department. We have a resolution in reference to accepting the dedication of public utilities and easement dedicated by the final plan of Railroad Place Professional R&R LLC owner. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the Phoenix City Planning Commission has determined that it is in the best interest of the city to accept the dedication of public easements dedicated by the final plat of Railroad Place for Professional Park, located in Section 4, Township 17 North, Range 30 East, Russell County, Alabama, dated April 7, 2025, prepared by D. Nathan McBride, registered land surveyor. And whereas the owner of said property, R&R LLC, desires to dedicate the same to the city of Phoenix City. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, does hereby accept the dedication of public utilities and easements as shown on the above referenced final plat. Passed, approved, and adopted this 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you again for the reading of the resolution. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask the council for a motion, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Bailey. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Comments or discussion? All right, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to accept a proposal from ProShot Concrete Incorporation to perform work on a portion of the river wall north of the 13th Street Bridge in an amount not to exceed $46,300. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas a portion of the river wall north of 13th Street Bridge has failed and must be repaired. And whereas part of the repair will require preparation of the top of the riverbank and pumping a specific type of concrete underneath and along the outside base of the wall to stop the leaching of backfill material before the wall can be replaced. And whereas ProShot Concrete Inc., who specializes in this type of work, has submitted a proposal to perform said work in an amount not to exceed $46,300. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to accept the proposal from ProShot Concrete Inc. in an amount not to exceed $46,300 to perform the necessary work on a portion of the river wall north of the 13th Street Bridge. Passed, approved, and adopted this 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay, council, we've heard the resolution. This time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion?
Could we get Ms. Moore to elaborate on that, for our citizens did such a fantastic job while we were doing it, for safety reasons, of course.
Yes, sir. This is a portion of the river walk that's just north of 13th Street Bridge. We've had some issues out there where we've had some selling and everything, but after one of our large rains where the river rises and then comes back down, Todd actually, Parks and Rec, notified us there was an issue out there. And the sidewalk started with a small crack, but after the rain and the river settled back down, it came down, it opened up to much larger crack. So we knew we had something going on with the MSE wall and the structural stability of it, and we were going to have to pour the new sidewalk. So we got in there, contractor pulled off the top of the sidewalk, and a portion of it was what we didn't want to mine, but we found where some, voids was up underneath the concrete, for the sidewalk. So this is a necessary thing, like I say, I know it's expensive, but we've got to maintain our river walk. And, you know, this is one of those areas that, you know, you can expect things, unfortunately, so that's why, you know, Mr. Hunter always has a plan for us when we need it, so, but that's what this means.
Let me ask you this, is that cement, that's a special type of cement?
Yes, sir, it is, and we have to do line a lot of our corrugated metal pipes, so they basically go in and put shotcrete in it.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of concrete, but it makes a concrete pipe, so no longer the metal's not getting to it anymore, so it makes a concrete pipe, so that we use this vendor a lot for that.
How long is it gonna take to finish this project, basically, just guessing at?
We're thinking about 3 weeks for Pro Shot, of course, it's gotta get signed, and they've got to get it on their route, or on their, list to do, and then they'll have to come in, probably take a couple weeks for construction, just to make sure that we get in there, we don't wanna do anything too fast.
No, you wanna make sure you got everything before you get to a point.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, and then after that, we should be able to pull our Robinson contractor, who has our like sidewalk bids and stuff like that, pull them in for the sidewalk. So hopefully, you know, I know summer's right around, everybody wants to go out to the river walk, but, you know, we gotta get this done, we gotta be safe for the citizens.
We gotta make sure it's right. That's why I saw the little pieces of equipment and the barrels and all of that for a while, because we've been trying to figure out what was going on, what caused it, where you can fix it.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate any other comments, discussion, question? Not call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, council on the engineering department is a resolution in reference to granting permission to Westminster Homeowners Association to construct a school bus stop shelter within the right of way of Westminster Drive and Auburn Road. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the Westminster Homeowners Association has submitted a request to construct a school bus stop shelter on city right-of-way at the corner of Westminster Drive and Auburn Road. And whereas engineering has reviewed the proposed shelter location and determined that it meets the minimum requirements for road safety for traveling motorists. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby grant permission to Westminster Homeowners Association to construct a school bus stop shelter within the right-of-way of Westminster Drive and Auburn Road, passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay, thank you again for reading the resolution. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, that's a motion, Council, Member Green, and a second by Councilman Day. That's right, okay. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comments or discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Day, Councilman Day, that's, in the second district there.
Yeah, that's why I say second.
But congratulations, and we are appreciative of citizens that, seek out to, provide solutions for all of us, really, especially our children. And I just want to say to those that came, before the council, it was something that they saw that there was a need for, and there won't be anything that will be, blindsided, you know, for motorists. So to protect our children, you know, from weather and, you know, having this bus stop out there, I just want to say congratulations once again to those homeowners association, for looking out for, our children, their children, in creating, this, bus stop shelter. And, you know, it just shows once again about the citizens, how much they care about their community as a whole, as well as, you know, the city staff. And, I haven't witnessed this, you know, since being on council, that one will be constructed like this. So again, congratulations.
Okay, thank you. All right, Council, at this time.
Just wanna add to that, why do we probably not have more homeowners associations not put these things into their subdivisions and for the children, especially when the kids, some of the younger kids get up so early in the morning, you know, to get on buses. And, I mean, do they just not realize that they can do it, or they just don't think about doing it? I'm just curious,
It
is it why?
depends on how long the neighborhood stays together. When it's first formed, that body, if you check the,
Yeah, a lot of the
time,
time,
most of them have lived there, they probably got something that's solid, more so than a lot of people that move in and out, or got old, neighborhoods.
Ownership.
That's there,
Yeah,
that's
ownership.
not around. It depends on how that group of people stay together.
And this may be something trickling.
Well, I'm supposed to say, I'm kind
They
of hoping
start
that they
off
might,
with this.
somebody might realize that this group has done that, and they start doing that, because when you go through some of the neighborhoods in the morning time, you'll see a group of kids out there, it might be rain, it might be some cold, nasty weather, and I just still don't keep you completely out of the weather, but it's got to help, and it
It'll help.
keeps the kids a little bit centrally located to where, maybe there's some more safety in that too, is what I'm thinking. But I'm just curious as why more neighborhoods don't consider it, or, I mean, I know the city's not gonna push it, and the school system's not supposed to push it, but, because it's a parent's responsibility to get their child to a school of some nature, whether they go on a bus or whether they're driving. But I'm just curious as to, why you don't see more of them, so hopefully, like the mayor said,
Take some ownership.
that they, take some ownership and they start doing it, but city manager's right, a lot of people get older, like myself, and their kids are gone, and I'm not gonna go out there and suggest to do it, because I have no one to be getting on it. So it does make a difference. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. At this time, council, I'd like to call for the vote, Mrs. Davis.
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council, the engineering department is a resolution in reference to authorizing the purchase of one John Deere utility tractor with sidearm mower from Sun South LLC of Columbus, Georgia, in an amount not to exceed $132,568.77. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the state of Alabama examiners of public accounts has reviewed and approved the competitive bidding process used by Sourcewell. And whereas the city of Phenix City desires to purchase the property hereinafter described for the limb and debris division in the engineering/public works department. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Phenix City, Alabama, that one John Deere utility tractor with sidearm mower shall be purchased under Sourcewell vendor from Sun South LLC of Columbus, Georgia, in an amount not to exceed $132,568.77. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Thank you so much for the reading of that resolution. And council, you've heard the resolution. It's time I'd like to ask this council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Comments or discussion? Okay. If not, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And council also proceeding on the engineering department is a resolution in reference to authorizing the purchase of one Kubota mini excavator from Beach Years Tractor and Equipment in Opelika, Alabama, in an amount not to exceed $50,478.30. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the state of Alabama examiners of public accounts has reviewed and approved the competitive bidding process used by Sourcewell. And whereas the city of Phenix City desires to purchase the property hereinafter described for the streets and drainage division in the engineering/public works department. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Phenix City, Alabama, that one Kubota mini excavator shall be purchased under Sourcewell vendor from B. Shears Tractor and Equipment of Opelika, Alabama, in an amount not to exceed $50,478.30. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you again for that, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've heard the reading of the resolution. It's time I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of this resolution.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Green. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion, council? All right, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council, on the police department is a resolution in reference to declaring vehicles listed on Exhibit A as surplus to be sold to the highest bidder at a public auction or sale as scrap if no one purchased them. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the police department of the city of Phenix City has property which is no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And whereas section 11-43-56 of the Alabama Code of 1975 as amended authorizes the municipal governing body to dispose of unneeded personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Phenix City, Alabama, that the described vehicles listed on the sheet labeled Exhibit A is hereby declared surplus to be sold to the highest bidder at a public auction or sold as scrap if no one purchased them. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, you've heard the resolution. It's time to ask the council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Any comments or discussion? All right. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now, council, on the Utilities Department, is a resolution in reference to accepting a proposal from the Fence Doctor for the purchase and installation of the gate and automated entry equipment for the water filtration plant and the wastewater treatment plant in an amount not to exceed $26,721. Mrs. Davis?
Whereas the city of Phenix City, Alabama operates a water filtration plant and a wastewater treatment plant. And whereas the water filtration plant and the wastewater treatment plant are in need of a new gate and automated entry equipment. And whereas the city has received 2 proposals for the purchase and installation of the necessary gate and automated entry equipment, the lowest and most responsible bid being in the amount of $26,721. Now therefore be it resolved that the city council of the city of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to accept the proposal for the purchase and installation of a gate and automated entry equipment for the water filtration plant and the wastewater treatment plant from the Fence Doctor in an amount not to exceed $26,721. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you for the reading of that resolution. The council, we've heard the resolution. I'd like to ask the council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second? Second from Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion? If not, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, council on the Utilities Department is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to hire a water grading contracting corporation to repair a portion of the forced sewer main on Downey Drive in an amount not to exceed $20,464.40. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas emergency work was required on a portion of the forced sewer main on Dowling Drive. And whereas Work Rating Contractor Inc. submitted an invoice for repairing a section of the main for $20,464.40. And whereas it was necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to ensure public safety and stop a sewer overflow. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby declare the Dowling Drive forced sewer main repair an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire Work Rating Contractor Inc. to repair said forced sewer main in an amount not to exceed $20,464.40. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Sometimes words will tongue can get twisted up. Council, we all have heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask this council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilmember Green, second, Councilman Day. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comments or discussion or questions? All right. Ms. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, council on the Utilities Department is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city managers to hire water grading contractor incorporation to repair a section of the sanitary sewer main on Jackson Drive in an amount not to exceed $4,266. This is stated.
Whereas emergency work was required by a portion of the sanitary sewer main on Jackson Drive, and whereas Water Grading Contractor Inc. submitted an invoice for repairing a section of the sanitary sewer main for $4,266. And whereas it was necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to ensure public safety and stop a sewer overflow. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, does hereby declare the Jackson Drive sanitary sewer main repair an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire Water Grading Contractor Inc. to repair said sanitary sewer main in an amount not to exceed $4,266. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you again, Mrs. Davis, for that resolution. Council, we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Bailey, may I have a second? Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, Mr. Green has been very, this is, can we get, and the more to elaborate what the citizens down in, Corey Park.
Yes, sir. This was the status update that I provided to the city manager, which we all provided to y'all yesterday. So Chris is just gonna flip through some pictures, and really not, these are the things that we have been doing down there. I'll go through it, verbally. But, and then we'll get to the end of the presentation, and we'll show the slide where the points of phase 1 would be. So crews have been down there in Pearl Park, they Yeah, we're not gonna be there. So, but getting back to the $1.2 million price, that's just to get that one section, and then if you go further, back to the, railroad trestle back to the river, it's, probably at least 3 times as that.
Exactly.
It's gonna be so much expensive, because you gotta build a haul road, you gotta build staging areas for them to dump the sediment once they get it out. You've got to possibly get on private property, so you get that worked out, you're gonna go through wetlands, and you have to get all of that mitigated and buy more.
You gotta buy more land, take land.
Yes, sir. So that's why we're trying to really focus on this section right here, so this is where everybody's at. But like I said, there's gonna be a lot of work that has to be done before we can get a price on that. We also did talk to Lee Russell Council of Governments in the beginning to prepare necessary information for FEMA grant. The FEMA grants are not currently open, but should be open this fall. And they are also looking to see if any other grants, like a Delta grant for critical infrastructure program, could be attained for this project. So that's something that we're also working on. But I just want to explain to everybody why I'm calling this a very rough estimate, because we don't know, because we haven't gone out there in the creek and dug down to the hard pan or where the bottom of the creek used to be. So we don't know how much sediment is out there.
You can 5 foot, you can have 10 foot.
Yes, sir.
we
You
have
have
a lot
2
of-
foot, right. But
At
the
1 foot.
contract all based off of volume, and how many
Yeah.
cubic yards of material that you remove. But we felt like, if we used an estimate, based off of a measurement of 3,100 linear feet, and so that would be from Steel Road down the end of 7th Street there, more or less, that's approximately 25 feet wide, so that's saying we're gonna take out 25 feet wide of sediment, and a sediment depth of 5 feet. So that's what we used as our estimate.
Guideline.
Right, and like I say, it's rough, it's not gonna be exactly that, it could be more, it could be less. But that's how far we've gotten. I attached a copy of the cost estimate for you all to review. Like I say, this is, it will include removing some of the trees. We can't take the trees completely down and remove the roots, because we still have to have established,
You gotta be
road
hard
control
ground.
right there. So if people see that we're not taking out the entire tree stumps and stuff like that, that's fine, because we can only go so far considering it's grading. We can't actually open up the banks and make the creek bigger or anything like that. We can remove the trees that are leaning, and we feel like that may be blocking eventually, we can do that. So I just want everybody to understand why maybe they're gonna think all the trees are not cut, but we can't do that according to the Corps and to the AM, but that's all done up under a permit, which you very likely will not get. And then the dredging does not qualify for that.
And all the work we are doing on is still under the flood zone.
Yes,
It'll
sir.
help some,
This
but
is,
not eliminate.
right, this is a temporary measure to help mitigate some of the flood, but this will not solve the overall problem. If there's another huge rain like we had on April the 6th, it's going to flood again.
No way around it.
However,
It's been done for years.
Folks are just not as bad as it did last time, but it's gonna happen. Can't stop it, you can't stop that.
no. When you're only as good as how from your drainage system where the outlets go into the creek up to that before it starts backing up into the subdivision. And then once the hopefully you can crest after the river does, that's just
That's
the
it.
other thing.
Done. Everything on Bridgeyard Road does it, never go away.
And explain to them over the past few years, decade and a half, really, how many super huge rains and severe storms that we've had where it flooded to this point. Because the news reported that every time it rains, it floods. And I had to watch that several times, and we know that's not true. But that's what the public sees sometimes at this subdivision. Some people think every time it's a minute rain or anything that it just flood, and that's not true. Over the past several years, we've just had this, and that's too much when I use the word and say just, but it's part of the result of building in this hole that they dug. It's a-
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I don't wanna blame nobody for anything, but, at some point in time, you do have to take some responsibility for the decisions that you make yourself. And if you move into a neighborhood, or you buy a lot, or you whatever, and there's a creek behind you, and you came downhill to get down to what you're looking at to possibly live on, or buy, or whatever, you gotta have some idea, even if it's a piece out in the country, you gotta have some idea that, let's make a nice lakeside. I mean, that you're in the lowest part of the property there, and then all the water's gonna funnel down there. And you gotta ask yourself, what do you need to do to protect yourself, is what I'm saying. And people that selling you that, though, should be honest enough to
That's
tell
the
you,
point.
that stuff also.
Need to
It's
be
just
full
not just,
disclosure.
always on the buyer. The seller has responsibilities also, but the city, as we stand today, 60 years later, nobody at the city at this point in time is responsible for all that being down at that time. We are responsible, as you're doing now, to take care of and keep it in the best condition we can for the people that live there. Most definitely, anybody sitting up here is responsible for that. But, we can't fix the problem because there's no fix for the problem. And we can't make it not happen again because that's beyond our control. So I appreciate you doing as much as you have and as hard as you have, as diligent, and hope that the people understand that, they haven't been forgotten, not just being tossed away, but there is only so much that can be done.
It's to help mitigate.
One of the main things she's trying to explain, and that the department trying to explain over the past few weeks, is that when you go back that length of time, you're talking no regulations or different steps.
Oh, yeah, there's no
And
rules and
that's what I want to allude to. Today's time, we have changed something in regulations, which is a good thing. So we had nothing to do with what happened past,
I haven't been able to find any subdivision regulations about subdivision.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm not saying that there weren't,
Yeah.
I'm saying that they're not.
You can't find them.
That we have now, right?
But someone had to know whether that the low line of that policy.
Yeah,
but like you said, you had no responsibility, legal or ethical. You should have done it, but that's back when things were, you're probably talking, 10 years after the Phenix City cleanup. I mean, really, realistically, the time frame, that's,
Short time.
that's back when, nobody followed any rules or regulations.
That's when the dollars came back there.
That's what I'm saying, so people just looked around everything.
Well, you hit on something that's, if we're gonna talk about that, you hit on something that's very important, because when you look at the whole story of Phenix City, the inspectors work for the mall. So, at that point in time, that's recorded history. That's not nothing I'm making up. So you gotta understand that portion too, but the other thing is, like you're saying now, in today's time, looking at the way you have to disclose things now. And if they have, it's people who's purchased down there lately, it's things that they can take action as far as the law. Depends on when they purchase those things. But looking all back, like what they're trying to continuously explain to people, and people, one of the questions I was asked, well, can you basically just assemble the storm system and replace it all down there? You still run into the same situation.
There's no fix.
You're still there, so there's no getting away from that part of it. So all we can do is continue to try to explain to people, because we have other low-lying areas in the city also, not that severe though. That was severe, and it's unfortunate, like I say, during those times. But I think what they're doing right now is gonna help the situation tremendously. I just wish people would report the facts. Because it's hard to straighten something out when you have people in front of the camera and on the news that's saying things that's not true. It's been very hard to straighten that out after the fact, So the more we can get in front of these things and take care of them, the better off we'll be as a city.
But one of the things Mr. Davis said, and Mr. Hunter kind of alluded on too, there's an ethical part of this, that people who decide to rent houses down there, it needs to be full disclosure by the owners of the property. And even when there's a seller who's fire involved, the law says it's supposed to be full disclosure. And I'm thinking what Mr. Hunter was saying is that there are recourses, because in today's environment, you have to have full disclosure, and a lot of that has not happened to people who's purchased home down there or either rented home. So, for whatever it's worth, there are some ways through the law that there are some recourses.
I'm gonna say this while we're on camera. And it needs to be said, some of the things that people are saying on Facebook, they do not have facts. If you're a Facebook lover, question the person who's put that on there and tell them to show you facts. that's what you love, because city cannot be ran by Facebook, and some of the ridiculous things that are placed on there, and, you know, the agitation that they can cause these city workers that's out there doing a complete job that they can do to their full ability. They're doing the best that they can do, you know. Sometimes you have to think about them too. Other people's workers are human beings also, and they are putting a lot of work into the different areas.
We certainly appreciate them too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Angel, you ain't your weakness this morning.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments, questions? All right, thanks, Chris. All right, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Proceeding on, council. On the utilities, again, at this time, we have a resolution in reference to authorize the mayor and city manager to hire a water grading contracting corporation to repair a portion of the storm drainage system on 280 bypass at Sonico Emergency Storm Box in an amount not to exceed $24,804.57. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas emergency work is required on a portion of the storm drainage system on 280 bypass at Suncoast Emergency Storm Box. And whereas Water Grading Contractor Inc. submitted an invoice for repairing a section of the main for $24,804.57. And whereas it is necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to ensure public safety. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby declare the Sonico Emergency Storm Box Repair an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire Water Grading Contractor Inc. to repair said sanitary sewer main in an amount not to exceed $24,804.57. Passed, approved, and adopted this 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've heard the resolution. This time I'd like to ask this council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion, Councilman Day, and second, Councilmember Green. We have the motion and we have the second. Any comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, council, on the utilities department, we do have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to hire Southern Rewinding and Sales to replace the wastewater pump at the water filtration plant in an amount not to exceed $8,525.54. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the wastewater pump at the water filtration plant, WFP, stopped working. And whereas without the pump, the WFP could not send much waste to the basin because it would eventually overflow, which makes the work to get an operational wastewater pump an emergency. And whereas Southern Rewinding and Sales replaced the pump with another new pump, performed troubleshooting to get the new pump operational, and moved 2 old and operable pumps to the loading dock area where we can dispose of them. And whereas Southern Rewinding and Sales submitted an invoice for this emergency work in the amount of $8,525.54. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby declare the replacement of the wastewater pump at the water filtration plant an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire Southern Rewinding and Sales pump replacement at the water filtration plant in an amount not to exceed $8,525.54. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Okay. Thank you again, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilman Bailey. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Comments or discussion? All right, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on, council, on ordinance. We have a public notice and first reading. Letter of recommendation from the Planning Commission, public notice and ordinance to rezone 10.29 plus minus acres of land located at 1007, 25th Avenue from the C4 zone highway commercial district to an R3 zone high density residential district. Neil Coon is the owner. Council, at this time, I'd like to ask the clerk to read the letter, the public notice, as well as the ordinance, and at the pleasure of the council, we will take all this in one motion. Okay? Mrs. Davis?
Letter from the planning commission reading as follows regarding rezone 10.29 plus minor acres located at 1007 25th Avenue, Neil Coon, owner. The planning commission of the city of Phoenix City met on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, to consider the request of Neil Coon, owner, for 10.29 plus minor acres located at 1007 25th Avenue to be rezoned from a C4 zone highway commercial district to an R3 zone high-density residential district. It is the recommendation of the planning commission that this request for a rezone be denied by the city council. Sincerely, Billy Sims, Chairman, Phoenix City Planning Commission. Tony Taylor, Vice Chairman, Phoenix City Planning Commission. Public notice reads as follows. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, in response to a request made by the Planning Commission of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, will meet on the 17th day of June 2025 at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Central Activity Center at 1500 14th Street, Phoenix City, Alabama, to consider the following amendment to the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City. Section 1. That the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, adopted on the 17th day of September 2002, be amended so that the following tract of land be located in an R3 zone high-density residential district instead of a C4 zone highway commercial district. Property is 10.29 plus minor acres located at 1007 25th Avenue. Neil Coon, owner. Legal description. Parcel AC, a parcel or tract of land known as being part of Parcel AC, lying in the southeast quarter of Section 16, Township 17 North, Range 30 East, Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama, containing 9.81 acres, more or less, and being more particularly described as follows. Parcel A1, a parcel or tract of land known as being part of Parcel A-1, lying in the southeast quarter of Section 16, Township 17 North, Range 30 East, Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama, containing 0.48 acres, more or less, and being more particularly described as follows. At said meeting, all persons desiring to be heard concerning the rezoning of the above described property may appear before the council at the aforementioned time and place to be heard. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, we have all heard the reading of the first letter, public notice, and ordinance, and at this time, I'd like to ask this council for a motion to accept the letter, approve the public notice, as well as place ordinance on first reading.
All motion at this time, Mayor.
A motion from Councilman Day, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Green. Okay. Comments or discussion? If not, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, council proceeding on the public notice and first reading. We have a letter of recommendation from the planning commission, public notice and ordinance to rezone 3.20 plus minus acres of land located at 1003 25th Avenue from the C4 zone highway commercial district to an R3 zone high density residential district. Sneed, Alabama, LLC, and Sneed Properties, LLLP is the owner. At this time, council, I'd like to ask the clerk to read the letter, public notice, and the ordinance, and at the pleasure of the council, I'd like to ask them to take a motion in reference to all three of those points. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Davis.
Letter from the planning commission read as follows regarding rezone 3.20 plus minor acres located at 1003 25th Avenue, Sneed, Alabama, LLC, and Snead Properties LLLP owners. The Planning Commission of the City of Phoenix City met on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, to consider the request of Snead, Alabama LLC and Snead Properties LLLP owners for 3.20 plus minor acres located at 1003 25th Avenue to be rezoned from a C4 zone highway commercial district to an R3 zone high density residential district. It is the recommendation of the Planning Commission that this request for a rezone be denied by City Council. Sincerely, Billy Sims, Chairman, Phoenix City Planning Commission. Tony Taylor, Vice Chairman, Phoenix City Planning Commission. The public notice reads as follows. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, in response to a request made by the Planning Commission of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, will meet on the 17th day of June 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Central Activity Center at 1500 14th Street, Phoenix City, Alabama, to consider the following amendment to the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Section 1, that the zoning ordinance of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, adopted on the 17th day of September 2002, be amended so that the following tract of land be located in an R3 zone, high-density residential district, instead of a C4 zone, highway commercial district. Property is 3.20 plus minor acres located at 1003 25th Avenue, Snead, Alabama, LLC, and Snead Properties, LLLP owners. Legal description: Parcel X1, a parcel or tract of land known as Parcel X1, lying in the southeast quarter of Section 16, Township 17 North, Range 30 East, Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama, containing 2.28 acres, more or less, and being more particularly described as follows. Parcel X2, a parcel or tract of land known as being Parcel X2, lying in the southeast quarter of Section 16, Township 17 North, Range 30 East, Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama, containing 0.92 acres, more or less, and being more particularly described as follows. Distance of 201.09 feet to an iron on the point of beginning, thence continuing along said right-of-way. At said meeting, all persons desiring to be heard concerning the rezoning of the above described property may appear before the council at the aforementioned time and place to be heard. Passed, approved, and adopted the 6th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've all heard the reading of the letter, the public notice, as well as the ordinance. At this time, I'd like to ask this council for a motion to accept the letter, to approve the public notice, as well as to place an ordinance on first reading.
I'll vote at this time for those items, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Day, and I have a second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on the council on the license and application, we do have a second reading. It's an application for an on-premise beer license, on-premise wine license, and whiskey wine license submitted by Outback Steakhouse of Florida, LLC, doing business as Outback Steakhouse, 1275, located at 3531 US Highway 280/431, Phoenix City, Alabama. Council, the first reading was on the 15th of April last month. I'm not going to ask the clerk to reread it. However, at this time, I'd like to take this privilege to ask the council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion, Councilman Day, and second, Councilmember Green. Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, council on the license application, we do have a first reading. It's an application for an on-premise beer license, off-premise beer license submitted by Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado, LLC, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill, located at 3535 US Highway 280, Phoenix City, Alabama. Mrs. Davis.
I have a letter coming from the Phoenix City Police Department, George A. Stodinger, Chief of Police, referencing Carol Elizabeth Soil, Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill, 3535 US Highway 280, Phoenix City, Alabama, 36867. I have reviewed applications for on/off-premise beer licenses, and I have no objection to the issuance of these licenses to the applicant based upon her criminal background investigation. Second letter, coming from Fire Chief Kristen Kennedy. This letter is in reference to the application submitted by Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill, located at 3535 US Highway 280, Phoenix City, Alabama, 36867. The applicant has applied for on-premise beer and off-premise beer licenses. A final inspection has been conducted, and this facility meets the fire code requirements for this type occupancy. Third letter coming from Chief Building Official Ray Rogers. This letter is in reference to the application submitted by Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, of Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill, located at 3535 US Highway 280-431, for an on-premise beer and off-premise beer license. This facility has been inspected and meets the building code requirements. This office has no objections to the approval of these licenses. That concludes all the letters.
Thank you. Council, we've heard the first reading by clerk. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to place on first reading, please.
Motion is placed on first reading.
All right, motion, Councilman Davis, second, Councilman Green. Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, and at this time, council would like to call upon our attorney, Mr. Jimmy Green.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
One, claim on the agenda today that was tabled on, April 15th, to determine whether the, estimates we got were within reason. I met with a local builder, he reviewed the estimates. One of the estimates was for $13,312.18. The other one, the second one, $10,812.20, and the last one was $9,705.97. And his recommendation to me was if we could get out of this situation for $9,705.97, we should pay it. And my recommendation is then to pay the claim in the amount of $9,705.97. This is a claim that was filed on behalf of insurance on behalf of Ruth Court. And you know, and this is what's really strange about this. Insurance companies usually won't give the estimates after this, so maybe that's gonna start a new trend.
Good, trying to work with you. So your recommendation?
My recommendation is to pay the, $9,705.97 to satisfy this account.
Okay. Council, we've heard the recommendation from our attorney, Mr. Jimmy Graham. I ask for a motion to approve that recommendation, please. Motion to approve. Motion, Councilman Bailey, and second, Councilman Davis. Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you all, thank everyone for being here, we appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to request, Mayor, I'd like for city manager to explain the gas tax to our citizens to myself as well.
Okay, Mr. Hunt?
You talking about the gas tax, change has been done through the legislature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna take the second part. gonna let Chan go over the first part of what just the action that just taking place as far as gas tax. What this is part of the percentage that we was getting from Russell County for the entire city. So I'll let them take the first part, I'll take the second part.
Mayor, Council, gas tax litigation with the county. Status of that is we are corresponding with the county at this point to discuss what the final number to be owed to the city will be. That will include principal, and we argue interest. There's also a discussion as to whether or not $450,000 of I'll call it paycheck funding should be paid back to the county. Although they made no claim or filed any suit regarding that money, the city discontinued paying that money when they discontinued paying gas tax, right? So right now we're in the works of getting that settled out. If we can't settle that amongst ourselves, then there'll be a hearing in Russell County Circuit Court to determine what that principal and interest would be and would be paid to the city. So that's the status of litigation. Did you want me to talk about what's going on in the legislature as well?
Well, you get that part, I did the last part. Yeah.
You got a question about the?
No.
Well, this goes, I mean, they'll pay us up until what is October first?
Yes,
They'll
sir.
owe us until then.
Currently, yes, sir.
Right.
Payments of the additional 10%. We'll
Right.
still get,
We get all the back stuff.
right, we'll get the back stuff. We'll still receive a portion from the county. It's just that additional portion that was allocated to the city of Kansas City in the 60s, that will.
That went away.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, it will go.
So the portion that they don't, well, they're trying to offset it, to bring that somebody to sort of offset it.
That they have asked to offset the amount of principal by $450,000, which was part of the group that the city made with the county, falling out.
Yeah. And going to answer portion with the call. I wanted to make sure that they received that, you know, the actions that they took towards us, I didn't want to be the same way. So we want to make sure we have a commitment to do something. to do it. But the unusual thing that's taking place was that with the gas tax, and that's been in place, is that you all know that as far as commissioners, a lot of people don't know how taxes are structured and how they're put in place. Or a lot of people get property tax mixed up with the same thing as sales tax, which is totally different. Looking at utilities and looking at how we pull money in from utilities, which is a different franchise and a whole business of its own. So a lot of people just, they don't understand it. We don't expect them to understand it, but I wish they would listen more. But what happened in this case, where you got 3.5 commissioners, districts that in the city, inside the city, you got 3 more that part of the district church inside, part of different places in the city. And this is something that we went over years ago with Leslie Vance when he was representing. And Mr. Vance had been asked about this, and he said he would never change that, and he didn't. He didn't touch that because he knew that they represent people that was in the city, and most of the gas stations are in the city. So Representative Blackshear decides, who has just a portion of Phenix City, he decides to introduce this bill that would remove that. And I'm quite sure some of the people that he represents don't know that he did that to them. So he's the one, and most of his district is on the Cherry Road. Oak Line, which is totally different, which we don't see him much. And, you know, they probably get mad with me about it, but I'm gonna make it fast now about it. And he made these actions, and we did let them know that we didn't agree with this. But, you know, and the mayor let him know, and he talked to other people, but he decided to push this while he went out of his way to do this and get in between county and city business like that. I feel it was wrong. You know, I told him that it was wrong. There's some things we're doing now, just like what we do with the, when the commission done that, it took those actions. Now, we run the library. Our librarian probably going to talk to y'all a few minutes about some of the activities that Mr. Green has asked about on yesterday. But at the same time, we have a library with over $500,000 budget there for the people work there in the city, Russell County Library. But out of that 600,000, what did we get sent last year? You remember that figure, man? You know, $11,000. No, now, it's time to pay up, or the name will come off the bill. That's just a fact. So anyone that hear that, you understand that's what's gonna happen. The same thing that what we do with the animal shelter. And we manage all the people that's there, they manage the work, people that's going out taking care of things, and it's supposed to be a shared cost. And we went through some things with that. I don't want to be in any kind of fight or anything with the county in any kind of manner, because all of them supposed to be serving the city. People of the city should have double protection and representation as far as the people that's there. Now, in these discussions that we need to have with people and the research we do when we're talking to people and the facts, we had a talk on yesterday, the day before, right, Sean? And we take a look at taxes, and we look at the ways, you know, the common person may feel, you know, they get in an argument, they jump up and say, well, I pay taxes, you know, okay, you pay property tax. Where we rank that in the country as far as property tax? 49. We have the lowest property taxes just about in the United States. Right. That causes a lot of problems. And you know, you're dealing with some big time politics when you start talking about what that really brings in. So we really live off of what we bring in as far as sales tax. You know, looking at our license permits and sales tax that we make it throughout the city. This side of the city thrives. That's why the investment that a lot of people criticize, we're bringing different businesses here, whether it's a chain or whether it's a local person that's opening up that's going to do very good in life. And we have to make sure that our expenditures don't exceed that in any kind of manner, at the same time paying down debt and taking care and maintaining the city. You know, those kind of things are boring things to talk about with other people, but to see where the city is growing from and how we're thriving to get places, of course, where system infrastructure has got to be changed, that they're doing the same thing throughout the United States. And it's everywhere throughout, you know, you have aging infrastructure, no different than here. But we have spent tens of millions of dollars over the past couple of decades still trying to take care of our system, our filtration system with other mandates that are coming at us. You know, we're dealing with all kinds of things that we're going to have to see, and we'll stay in front of that. Our wastewater treatment plant, you know, you have people, and in this city, I look at this city sometimes, and I fight like heck around here about it, because a lot of people don't look this city every day. You got people here that's dedicated and loyal, and a lot of people are probably not. They want a paycheck. Some of them that way, you know, you have a little bit of different, but people really do care that work here is trying to make a change and looking at the future. You know, you look at all the mandates that's coming down, and this stuff is not cheap. It takes a lot, so we're fighting for grants instead of fighting for grants. The other day from Congress, Mayor, you got the information from Congress, what people don't see from the conventional information you got at the last minute. Yeah. And I got a call from you. That evening at 5 o'clock, but to get a call to say that you can get up to $5 million, but you got to have all of this other work in. You got to have these 45 questions answered. You got to have all this research done by the next morning at 10 o'clock, right? Okay, now, I'm gonna tell you something. You want to talk about being put behind the 8 ball, but I'm gonna show you what dedication and loyalty is. It's about that. You got your backpack with you, John? You see that backpack? Just out, utility director walk around with it. You know, I had to sit there at night and had to think about, okay, how many things do we have that's lined up that we can take care of? How many things that we are already doing out for grants? And just received a $5.7 billion grant to help with some things, utilities. So I called John and said, meet me in office the next morning. Spent the whole day in my office. But through the computer that each carries in their bag, you say you want to get a whole day, you just collect a whole day. and a lot of becoming the departments what they had, but being ready and looking into the future and planning. He had a list of things, and I said, I'll take the first questions, Shannon Campbell jumped on it right away with what he had with the last two, let's get going. I mean, it was an operation that went on that people don't see that was out of this world, but it was some people that was prepared. It was some people that worked hard at it, but when you're up against things that way. So now the relationship, those people seeing us stuff back with, so I found this, they kept communicating back and forth with John Fackins, a whole lot like that. And I feel like we probably be successful. That's something that will come in 2026. But you're also looking at, when you talk about fighting for this city, you steadily gonna have people that steadily tries to knock this city down. And you know, we have people on the bridge here, thank you very much on that. That's here, you know, here with us, we supposed to go to Wicked City, and they going back to town. The same thing that I said earlier when we were talking about inspectors. You remember when the bug house collapsed. Yeah, right down here. Yeah, right down here. How they got back to business so fast, you got looked for conflict control instance. Nobody went down, it was blamed for it because of who I was. It's just fact. It's here. But to see the city trying to thrive, and to see that we steadily have to fight for a good reputation of this city, it's a challenge. You know, we have to be up to that challenge because people don't see that these days, but you steadily got people that's trying to make it a reminder of it, that we're that type of city. So that's probably why it's so important, you know, down in the constantly and make sure people cannot get anything on this city that's that to any kind of plan. You know, it's very important. If people don't really feel that way about it, that's in these positions when you have to come together, when they have to work together as a team out there. They come together with different things to provide the city like they have been doing. You know, with companies over at Sparks and Red, well, it's Fire Department, Police Department, well, it's clerk's office. Everything channeled through the clerk's office, well, the finance, well, you're dealing with things you have to deal with the children training people. And what gets me, you know, like I say, I've been in that of my career. And what gets me is people that don't want to recognize what's going on in this world. You get up in the morning and you look and you say, well, people are delayed in flights 4 hours, 5 hours, can't get here and whatever. Air traffic controllers now are using sick time not to go to work, mental stress. And they already don't have enough, so they can't get them anywhere. So it brings it home when you look at it back and bring it throughout the United States, the shortages that we have here. Then you look and you see people kind of feel sorry for Jimmy Graham over there, when his favorite place and froze here. Bye-bye. You know, come over our house a little bit. Come over there, I could be captive. But that thing is time. 60, 70 hour weeks that he had to do to try to keep the work over there, keep the door open for people that don't want to work. It's the same thing here. There's no exception whether it's in the pot or whether it's heating home. And people still don't want to stay, and I don't want to hear it. You got people doing work. I don't know if it's COVID did the people around, but there's something wrong. That you can't get real workforces like you need to have to sustain the things that you have in place. It is tough, but people gonna have to start listening to it. Because now when you hear about equipment, Mike Bowers over there, you know, our technology director, we've spent what, millions to bring our level up in state funding. Am I correct? To the point to where we're at the point where in training people, and as people rotate in and out, you have to retrain and retrain to get them there. But to hear that some of the equipment in the airports are antiquated up to 50 years, that's scary. It's real scary. And to look at some of the things that they got to change and think about changing it immediately. But you don't even have people trying to take care of that. So your risk factor is so high to the pitiful right now. And that's that interest. But it's a concern
and you know, 4 people is traveling like 4. You know, we would make the main concern is go down the street and get started, you might say, no, the main concern better be who's falling asleep, who's guiding you in, or who's not there. Or when the system shuts down for 90 seconds and you have bingo, you don't know where the people are that you got in. Now somebody got to wake up. You know, and that's the same thing that's going in. Some of the things that seem hard here compared to those factors are very easy. And that's why I tell people, it's not that we don't care. Like on yesterday, when I hear one of the citizens say, if you don't vote a certain way when something come up, that means you don't care. That's strictly the point to advice on how they feel as it was to the work we have to do here. Just because you don't feel the same way I do, don't feel the same way you do, don't mean that you should have stand with what you believe in. You know, and that's correct. And those are things that we have to look at here in trying to guide this city. So y'all have to stay firm and you have to stay factual. You have to do the homework. Yeah, I had to put together about the issue the other day about hours to get things for the city. We fight every day for this city. When we're talking to this, just like the angel said, engineer said, when we're talking to ADM, or we're talking to, you know, trying to talk to core engineers, and the first thing you hear out of their mouths, some of it, well, we don't have the money, or we don't have this funding. We can't stop at that point. That's where back to me, that's right. We got to go through all the news to get to that point and get done what we, so we said, fight. We just said, come here and to you all, board of citizens, say, look, the bank is dry, we don't have any finance.
Because that's not the project, don't stop the direction you're heading to the project. That's why I said that 2 times. I guarantee you the other day when they put y'all on that they got purpose, everybody project. They wanted to see who was prepared and was prepared.
They worked all night.
Prepared, worked all night and got it done in that short time. They know it's gonna lead to a lot of people, that's the people that run it. And the other people that couldn't do it, didn't have the numbers, didn't have people, didn't have willingness to do it. They were back burning somewhere.
And that's what's fun about it, when they work on that, the John walk around with $50 million project, the people, you know, so that worked out, that's one of the shit was on. When the beer called out there, and I home get back in the plan, I said, what is going on? You know, and I thought about it, I started thinking, I said, well, I know where to find out that. So let's just get that. It's 100 people, but it was ready. And also we applied and separate Senator Brett and several other people that the things was there. But I was real proud in what they got. You know,
Good job.
it was,
There was only so many cities that got dedication done, and so like that.
yeah.
And I guarantee you that was part of what they were looking at too, what city were prepared to accept a challenge like that. And they found out that we were, and we can.
And we built a reputation with the state a long time ago as being ready and trying to have things that are planned. And that's a perfect example of what I've been talking about all while. They get things done. So I don't know.
Well, one time he said is that they did a great time, because it's about 7 o'clock that evening, and I called this holiday, and you know, he started going off and all that, but at the end of the day, he was able to settle down that week. But the thing I do want to reiterate is that, yes, he said, we, through them, you all have built a relationship with the state of Alabama, people in key positions. But we also have a relationship with people in Congress. So evidently we are doing things that are the right way with the integrity and the character and all that we talk about. I do know, and I want to say this, you know, but I know, and Mr. Hunt spoke briefly on it, a lot of it, which we should. That everything has changed. You can't find people who's willing to work. And I say that the same way as this is that I know we all get a lot of calls, you know, leaks. But when they're working hard as they can, And they are prioritizing them, and I do know the citizens get tired of us saying that, but at some point, we have to realize, when you see it throughout this country, and throughout this state, that you don't have the workforce. You have to prioritize and get to those problems as soon as you can. But I can say this, and you all correct me if I'm wrong, is that we are working, when I say we, they are working as hard as they can. And we're not overlooking it once. And one of my faults is being on teams all my life. You fight for your team. And I do know one of my weaknesses is when people say things about the team, it can sometimes brings the aggressiveness out in me. I have to work on that. But I'm not going to apologize for it, because these people work hard for the right reason. So, thank you all. Council, anybody else want to say something before we close?
I just like you recently recognized of this, Mr. Hunter, and I'm looking at it throughout and stuff like for their dedication. And it's hard to put a team, find a team, be so dedicated and work with the city manager. As I often say to Mr. Hunter, and this team, they're doing a great benefit, but still something to say everywhere it's council. I always tell them, and when I go up, I said, go over this council look good, and you really do. But man, one of the things that I like to change is trying to get bigger. Here's what on my mind, I often say to some citizens down at Westport Park. When I receive these calls, when I went down and got beat up on it, here's what I asked, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I asked them, did they call the county commissioner who reps in that area? After they call the state representative who reps in that area also. And I also asked them, did they call the council open? Not only me reps in that area, but they have other representatives down there. Because what happened, when the time for them to come around and vote, they get their vote. And that's one of the things that I like to share with us. So we've got more than the city council representatives down into the area. I just want to share that a little bit. Thank you.
And we are, and let me say, I think I can say this on behalf of this council, in particular starting with me, we're willing to be helped, but no one's right.
Right.
I mean, and that's the role of the leadership. But we're not going to apologize for can't be like.
Well, let me just say also one or two things. We know that we have a lot. We know as a people that we have a lot going on in our nation, and we have to be mindful and very focused on continuing doing the things the right way, so that it will be a reflection of why we do what we do here on the council, and why, as elected officials across the board, we represent the people. But the good thing about it, I know, and I would say on behalf of the council, is because we don't hide our faith. I know. Maybe I've heard you say before, you don't, and Councilman Bailey and Councilman Gordon and Councilman Day. We just thank God that we're just not going through life, we're growing through life. And so as a community and as an elected official, that is something we just pride ourselves on, And we know that there's a lot of work to do, and we hope that our city will continue to be one of the best places to work, to live, to worship, and to play and to attend school. We are all in this together, and we are willing to continue to work together to make sure we got one of the best, once again, places to live, worship, play, and attend school. That is so important in the way I envision Phenix City to be. So we're not just going through life, we're growing through life. And we see that as we ride our streets, as we walk our neighborhoods, we see that. May brings on two important things that I like to recognize at this point. We celebrate Mother's Day in the month of May. And so, first of all, I want to say, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And had the opportunity to attend one of the events here in Phoenix City. We got a lot of events that are going on. I hear from time to time that we don't have much to do in Phoenix City, but I would ask our citizens to visit the website to see all the activities that Phoenix City have going on. I attended the mother-daughter brunch this past weekend, and I tell you, the room was filled, the activity was on point. It was just a very nice event, and a lot of people enjoyed it. It was, music, great fellowship, lots of activities for our children. And so those are just some of the things that we seek out to make sure that entertainment, tourism right here in Phoenix City is happening right here in Phoenix City. So thanks so much to our Parks and Rec for doing that. I know yesterday I asked the director to kind of cite some of the things that we have going on, and we're okay. I'm just gonna ask the citizens to visit the website to see all those activities that are planned, to include the Phoenix City Library. Mrs. Henry, the director, is making sure that there's lots of activities for this summer for our children. And so do visit all the exciting entertainment and resources that we have in Phoenix City. And lastly, Mayor, this is a season of graduation. It's new beginnings for a lot of people. A lot of our children will be going off to school. A lot of our preschoolers are now leaving, primary, going into secondary, high school, and, middle school, graduating from one step of education to another. And so we just pray God's blessings among all of our citizens. We want to celebrate those graduates. We have graduates coming from Central High School, Glenwood School, Russell County School, here in the Tri-City area in Phoenix City. And so we just say congratulations and to all the parents and especially our students, the administrators, teachers, because we've all had a part in making sure that they are educated. And we know from past experience that once we have an educated community, we got a much safer community. And so thanks to everyone who played a part in educating our children and each other and making sure that we live in one of the best places in the United States.
And here I like to say that I was sitting here thinking about last meeting that when we had our citizens down in my district came up to read. I want to take start to really take this time to invite the citizens, not only in this degree, but throughout the city. Come to this meeting, find out what's going on in your city or any sense of any kind. It's your city, it's your tax stop. So come, you all come, you get involved. And one of the things that I like to still not only in this degree, but throughout this city as a whole, let us stop doing trash out on the street. Let us try to keep our city clean as possible. That's all I can make it for us.
I know we've been here a while. Thank you all, team, so much. We certainly appreciate this council down sitting in. We thank you all for giving it your best and giving the team to do our best. But I do want us to be encouraged to stay upright, to stay faithful, and realize that there's somebody depending on you. More so, and also in your family and outside your family.
Don't see your thing.
Don't your Facebook is, it's Facebook.
You're real, absolutely real people.
Come get the facts, as Mr. Hunt said, and, more power to you on Facebook, but one thing I will say in this council is for to do the right thing, be bold, and if we make a mistake, we can admit it, we can learn from it, and try not to make that mistake again, right? But we are going to do the things that are right, and at the end of the day, it's not other people, you all have shown that. So thank you all so much. And at this point, we thank CTV Bean for bringing this, and again, if you want to know something, just come down to the office. Thank you all, we do stand adjourned. Thank you.
I bet God.